Not because she's the director, but because no one else ever wants to go first. Ramona Jan.
Hum-diddly-um, the new me, scientist. The old me was a songwriter. The difference between scientist and songwriter? Everything. Songwriters extract words and melodies from the air using only rhyme, no reason. Scientists, on the other hand, use reason, logic, chemistry, and even math. Like Nancy Drew, they follow the clues. Songwriters are more like Inspector Clouseau, bumbling around until a song appears. In the words of Clouseau, that is why I have always failed where others have succeeded. In an effort to succeed, at least at pronouncing all the unnecessarily long scientific words, I made songs from them. Bifidobacterium is a gram-positive genus in the Actinobacteriophylum. That's my teacher talking. And here's me. They're moving in a straight line into your small intestine. Bacterial infection, the SIBO bop.
It was impossible to get Twinkies, McDonald's hot apple pies, donuts, or ice cream in Madison, Wisconsin between 1972 and 1983. Impossible because I ate them all. Like a Hoover vacuum, I'd make my way through piles of food because sometimes when you're full, you don't have to think about how empty things might be. I have no idea how much I weighed back then. At the slightest mention of stepping onto a scale, I would binge diet. I once estimated to a doctor that I figured I topped out at 350 pounds. That's impossible, said the doctor. 330 tops.
Fell in love with a bad boy, broke up with bad boy, weight creeped up some more, graduated massage school, moved back to New York to get away from bad boy, became vegan, started running, lost 50 pounds again. Belly still there. Get liposuction, that'll finally get rid of it. Belly almost flat. Bad boy gets in touch and we hike Appalachian Trail from Pennsylvania to North Carolina, then hitchhike to Outer Banks. Body feeling good, strong, belly almost gone. Get pregnant. Whoops. Belly growing with life. Bad boy leaves. Life as I know it is never the same again.
At first, I told the line in my new 5th grade class. Mrs. O'Connor seemed like a good egg, and the kids were a motley bunch, but okay. But like they say, you can't change a zebra's stripes. By the middle of that first week, I was sequestered at the back of the room, my desk facing the wall. By the end of the week, I was in the principal's office waiting for my grandmother to bail me out. That's where I met Sammy Lamont. I was fidgety, but he seemed unfazed. "What did you do?" he asked. "Nothing," I said. "Of course," he said. "Me too." He grinned knowingly, a 7th grader who seemed very wise. He'd introduced me to the neighborhood as Ching. I didn't like it, but he soon called me Billy, then occasionally Fells. Fells. I liked having a nickname, as if I was a sidekick. Over time, he'd teach me how to shoplift, make small pipe bombs and rockets, and peep into windows. One afternoon, he summoned me and the rest of the neighborhood riffraff to the chicken coop behind his parents' bar and restaurant. Why? We'd see soon enough. He said there was nothing like it. We followed Sammy behind a berm of scraggly shrubs that hid us from view and sat in a semicircle around him. He sat down, unzipped, and...
Human mind is amazing. The capacity is great and imagination enormous. Take myself, for example. As a little kid, I grew up watching Bonanza. In the 60s, it was a #1 show in Poland. In my mind, I lived in Ponderosa, and I rode a horse to Virginia City. I admired the righteous sheriff, and the Cartwrights. What a wonderful world they live in. I'm going there someday, I thought. And that's when a dream was born.
Who do you think you are? These were the first words of my first talk, as it was called. Each Thursday night, for the second hour of the meeting, the Theocratic Ministry School was held at the windowless and fluorescent-lit Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall. If you have ever wondered why, when a JW comes a-knocking on your door early on a Saturday morning, that they seem to have a pleasant but immediate, well-informed answer to every question that you might address, it's because the skill of preaching the word was carefully taught each week at one of 3 weekly meetings. This day, as a nervous but excited third grader with natural performative skills, I was given my first presentation to the congregation and was being graded specifically on an effective introduction.
It's Wednesday, 1:15 p.m. I begin my descent into the shadow of the moon. I am plunged into shame, recalling every horrible thing anyone has ever said about me. Have my coworkers seen this yet? These comments will go viral. They're posted in every department.
For most of my adult life, I have felt that I had a gift of looking around the edge of a proposition and unmasking falsehoods. But reality has surpassed the imagination, whether it is science or politics, and the big reveal seems nearly out of my artistic reach.
Almost 30 years ago, I worked at a lumber yard in Pennsylvania. I'd already had 7 years' experience doing carpentry work, and although the owner claimed he hired me for an inside sales position, as soon as I started, I was told that he wanted another girl to answer the phone and help the secretaries out, someone who could also work the sales counter full-time. Being young, angry, mouthy, and having already had my fill of this nonsense after my years in the trades, I told him I would do everything all the other inside salesmen did, but nothing the secretaries did. We settled into an uneasy and temporary truce. For my part, the money and benefits were good, and since I really did know my stuff and the customers liked me, I guess the owner felt he'd just let things ride. The road salesmen in this place were the usual mix. Some folksy and pleasant, some cocky and superior. One man, I'll call him Buddy, was a super volatile, drug-fueled, short-fused little bastard prone to explosions of temper. We were treated to screaming insults, slamming of doors, kicking of waste bins, ripping a coworker's calendar to shreds, and the like. He'd say to me, "Babe, get the phone." And, "Oh, honey, you can't expect people to accept a girl in this job."
It's not my party, and I can fly if I want to. Or the other side of, don't ask, don't tell. I never met a flashback I didn't like. Now here I am, out of my mind, recalling this one from 1987, when after meditating for 40 days under a 2,000-year-old tree outside of Oaxaca, Mexico, dressed as I am, having been praying for peace and dedicating myself as a planetary healer during harmonic convergence, an alignment of the planets, as was predicted by the plumed serpent Quetzalcoatl in the Aztec calendar, I wasn't allowed to board the spaceship because they had uncovered my rubber chicken, my whoopee cushion, Bubbles, and my Groucho Marx spectacles, which in truth hardly changed my appearance as a space cadet, when my goal was simply to just entertain God knows where.